I said I wouldn't be back till next week, but there's a lot to report on, so there's a distinctly international mix to this Monday's episode. But what to do with those players left behind? Well, the club released another episode of their teammates videos on YouTube channel this week, with Daniel and Pato telling us, amongst other things, who's the worst dresser and the most skillful player at the club.
Adidas tries every day, so I'll change it. Everyone bars it down for his club as well.
Sunderland made 7 signings in the summer, and reports swirled early last week that should Tony Mowbray keep us in the hunt for promotion or a playoff place, then the club would be in the transfer market for a forward, a centre-half and a utility player who can cover Corry Evans and perhaps the right-back slot. Now, this is pretty cheap journalism, if I'm frank, because we were going to be in the market of those positions regardless. We were trying to fill them in the summer, so it makes sense that we'll be back for them in January. Dressing this up as some kind of journo scoop is just cheap stuff. Wait, I've just repeated it as news. Oh, bugger. SFC Twitter released a Wallpaper Wednesday. Is that a thing? Anyway, they offered some phone wallpapers via screenshots for your mobile. I guess that's how it works. Let's have a look. Yeah, I like that one. Okay, pretty good. Oh, no, not for me. And that's a bit odd too. Okay, anyway. Abdoullah joined up with the French under-20 team for the first time as they played their first of their 2 games against the current North African champions. Yes, that is a thing. He didn't start the first game, and despite the French bringing on a bazillion subs on the hour mark, he wasn't one of those either, so he never played. After all that effort trying to find the footage, it was a pretty dull affair, and our player didn't play. It finished 0-0, so here's a picture of 2 cocks. Trai Hume hooked up with the Northern Ireland under-21s on Thursday for a match against Scotland.
Hello, who's ready for a game of football?
Northern Ireland are on a 4-match losing streak and played at home on the fantastically named Blanchflower Stadium, home to the Harland and Wolff Welders Football Club. Great name. 2-0 down in the first half and nothing Hume could do about it. He was moved from right back to left back for the second half, but the game was away from them by then.
Pulled back and the shot hits the inside of the post. And no mistake from the rebound.
Friday saw Jewison Bennette starting for Costa Rica, and he took his recent form into this game. Heung-min's South Korea looked dangerous throughout, with chances coming almost every couple of minutes. They took the lead after half an hour, and there could have been several more goals to put them ahead. Before Bennette equalised just before half-time against the run of play. On the hour mark, Dewey put the Ticos 2-1 up. But with a man sent off in the 82nd minute, they failed to hold on to the win, and South Korea earned a deserved draw. Jewison Bennett's performance in this match will do him a world of good trying to earn a starting berth for the World Cup in November, and best of luck to him in those efforts. Saturday saw Corry Evans in action for the Northern Ireland senior team alongside Johnny Evans, his brother, Paddy McNair and Tom Flanagan. A bunch of Sunderland players were at the back there. They all played in a Northern Ireland team that edged the last-minute winner against Kosovo at Windsor Park. Evans Jr. put in a solid, if unspectacular, performance for 75 minutes before giving way to Gavin White. The score was 0-0 at that point. Gavin White then scored one a moment later and provided the assist for the winner 15 minutes later. Corry is due to be in action on Tuesday. That's if White doesn't take his place over him after that performance. And France under-20s played their second fixture against Tunisia this week in a packed-out stadium. Abdoullah Bar did start this game, however, playing on the left of a centre midfield. He was their designated corner and free kick taker as well, and did pretty good at both of those, so he's perhaps well thought of. He was solid if unspectacular until he was substituted in the 52nd minute, and Tunisia scored shortly afterwards. I'm going to draw the best conclusion from that. France did equalise late in the game, so a 0-0 and a 1-1 means I wish I hadn't watched either of them. Michael Spellman went out on loan to Northern League side Whitby Town. Nothing to do with his red card in the previous under-21 games, but we'll keep an eye on his progress in our loan watch in the coming months. He will play against Kevin Phillips's South Shields side, so that'll be interesting. There was no game for Jack Diamond this week, with international fixtures causing a postponement for Lincoln City's game, but Carl Winchester, who technically is on loan at Shrewsbury, did start his first game for them in their 2-1 win over bottom-of-the-table Burton Albion. His contract is up at the end of this season, and he needs to be playing to earn one somewhere else this year. We won't be seeing him back, so good luck to him. He did a good job for us last year. After a poor start and a narrow loss to top-of-the-table Bristol City, the Lasses were in action at Ebbleton again this week against third-place Charlton Athletic. A hard-fought display saw the Lasses take the lead through Emily Scarr. She nearly doubled the lead in the second half, but her shot crashed off the bar. Then Charlton equalised, but the Lasses looked to have done enough when they retook the lead 2-1, only 12 minutes from time. But a frenetic end to the game saw the Lasses implode and turn victory to defeat as Charlton equalised for a second time only 30 seconds later. And a minute after that, Abby Holmes was sent off for a second bookable offence. Two minutes into extra time, the inevitable happened when Charlton fashioned a clear header to win the game. Despite an encouraging performance, Sunderland are now in danger of being cut adrift at the bottom of the table. Only a truly dismal Coventry are keeping them out of the relegation spot. The under-21s had a number of senior players requiring game time in their team on Friday night against Middlesbrough under-21s. Jaku started up front. Michut started in the middle of the park with Matete as a defensive midfielder behind him, and Bailey Wright captained the team on the right side of defence. Some weak and clearly out of practice defending from Wright saw a soft goal conceded after only 5 minutes. Thompson then went closest with a header in the first half, and a fairly flat second half quickly went south when Edouard Michut was sent off for 2 soft yellows in quick succession. That's 3 players in the last 2 games for the under-21s who've had a red card. It's not going well there. The free kick that followed Michut's dismissal resulted in a cheap second goal again, and this week there was to be no heroic comeback against the odds for the under-21s. They ran out 2-0 losers. There was no games for the under-18 this week, so I'll leave you with the best dancer at the club, and I'll see you next week for another Monday Mix.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's got to move to be fair.
He gives it his all.
Yeah, he gives it 100%.